Good evening, bonsoir. Bienvenue à la séance ordinaire du 19 août. Welcome to the regular public meeting on August 19th. Please rise for the national anthem. Before we begin, we'll do territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge the city of Bathurst as the ancestral homeland of the Mi'kmaq. Today, these lands are homes to a diverse population of indigenous and other peoples. We also acknowledge with respect the diverse history and cultures of the Mi'kmaq in this region. Nous reconnaissons avec respect l'emplacement de la ville de Bathurst en tant que terre ancestrale du peuple Mi'kmaq. Aujourd'hui, ces terres sont hôtes d'une population diverse, comprenant personnes natives du territoire et autres patries. Nous reconnaissons aussi avec respect l'histoire et les diverses cultures du peuple Mi'kmaq de la région. All right, so we'll go to the adoption of the agenda. Ms. Parker?
That the agenda be approved as presented.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Okay, moved by Councillor Scarry, seconded by Councillor Hondas. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Ms. Parker, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
Deputy Mayor Willett has declared a conflict of interest with item 8.2.1, first reading of bylaw 2024-10, and item 8.2.2, second reading of bylaw 2024-10.
All right. Thank you. So we will go to the adoption of the minutes, the regular public meeting held on August 6, 2024.
That the minutes of the regular public meeting dated August 6, 2024 be approved as circulated.
All right, I'll need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Branch, seconded by Deputy Mayor Willett. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. All right, consent of agenda, we're good. We have public and administrative presentations. So we have a proposed municipal plan and zoning bylaw amendment for property located at 495 Riverside Drive. Donc nous avons un amendement proposé au plan municipal et à l'arrêté de zonage pour la propriété située au 495 Promenade Riverside. Et Madame Naïssa va nous faire la présentation. I will give you the mic in just a second, podium. All right.
Merci beaucoup. Good evening, everyone. So I'll be presenting two applications regarding plan amendment and rezoning. Each presentation will have an application overview, proposed use, regulatory context, neighborhood character and project impact, stakeholders input, planning department recommendation, and process timeline. The first application is from Mrs. Blanchard. So the request is to amend the municipal plan map to change the designation from institutional to integrated development, and the zoning map to change the zoning from institutional to integrated development. That would be for the subject property located at 495 Riverside Drive in the city of Bathurst to allow the demolition of the former office building to construct an 8-story multi-family dwelling with 28 residential units and commercial spaces, including offices. Those will be on the first floor. Later on, the existing garage will be demolished. So here we have a view of the subject property. This is a closer view. We can see that the property overlooks the Bathurst Basin. We have an oblique view where we can see the buildings on the property. So the lot has an irregular shape. It has an area of approximately 5,797 square meters. The lot frontage is approximately 132 meters. The access is off Riverside Drive. It's actually serviced with municipal water and sewer. Also, as mentioned previously, we have 2 buildings which are vacant, so the main and accessory. It is to note that the northern tip of the property is occupied by a municipal service easement, which is represented in yellow on the picture. Regarding the land features, the bank between the top of the property and the beach is relatively steep. That we can see on the map and also the photo we have here. Also, according to provincial maps, the property does not appear to be affected by flood levels predicted by 2100. We try to check the past use and current use of the property. So for the past use, we can say that the subject building has long been used by the Department of Natural Resources for their regional offices. In 2023, a rezoning of the property was requested to allow a different project, which was denied. So as mentioned, actually it has 2 vacant buildings. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing main building, so that's the one we can see represented in blue, and also to build a new one. So that's the one highlighted with the red dotted line. It has a footprint of 80 feet per 80 feet, so that would be approximately 10.25% for lot occupancy. The new building will be built approximately 10.5 meters from the street right-of-way and 30 meters from the ordinary high water mark. That's what we can see on the picture. The existing accessory building is the one presented in brown, and that will be used as storage during construction and demolished afterwards. The applicant wants to retain the 2 existing driveways. We can see them on the site plan with the blue arrows. The southern driveway would provide access to the parking reserved for the workers and clients for the commercial space. The middle entrance would provide access to underground parking, and the northern one would provide access to the parking lot between the building and the basin. So the building proposed would be an 8-story multi-family dwelling with 28 dwelling units. The first floor would be used for commercial purposes, possibly for professional services. A basement garage would be reserved for residents, and each unit would have 2 bedrooms and an 8 feet per 12 feet balcony. The picture we have here is an example of what the applicant wants to build. So this one is a multi-family dwelling with 6 stories, and they want to build 8 stories. For regulatory context, the first to apply is the municipal plan. So it helps to guide day-to-day decisions affecting development. As per the municipal plan, the property here highlighted with the red dotted line is designated as institutional, and Riverside Drive is designated as collector road. We try to review the alignment of the the project to the municipal plan, policies, goals, and proposals. So we have to retain that it offers more options, it adds to the housing supply, it's a medium density type of development, and thus it will cater to the needs of various demographics and also address the needs of the growing population. It also promotes mixed use with residential and commercial, and also it is an efficient and economical land use because it's a compact type of development. It reduces urban sprawl, it will be using existing infrastructures, so that is very efficient. As per the zoning bylaw, the property is currently zoned as institutional. So the proposed use being a mixed use, it is not permitted under the current zoning. It would be permitted under the integrated development zone. We have a quick view of the permitted uses in the institutional zone. So we can see that all the buildings allowed are of big size, and they somehow allow also commercial uses. So the only use that is not allowed is the residential part of the proposed building. The next regulatory applicable document would be the Watercourse and Wetland Alteration Regulation. Oops. Sorry.
No.
Okay. So the WAWA regulation applies to this project since the property borders the Bathurst Basin. And for any work within 30 meters of a watercourse or wetland, a WAWA permit is required. And next we have a view of the wetland. So this is an aerial view. It's highlighted in yellow. That's the first picture. In the middle we have a map which represents a wetland to the northwest of the property. It's represented in yellow, and we can see the line showing the buffer zone of 30 meters. And on the right we have the unmarked provincially significant wetland, which is represented here with the green grass and plants. According to the survey plan submitted, the closest part of the new building would be built 30 meters from the ordinary high water mark to provide the required buffer zone along the edge of this body of water and provincial significant wetland. So we can see the buffer zone represented here on the picture. Considering the location of the property, it can be subject to erosion. Coastal erosion rates calculated in this area suggest very slow evolutionary trends, and that is normal given the geomorphological context. So we have the high relief, low exposure to waves, and presence of protective structures. Even though the erosion trends are low, we can see there is a cribwork which was built within the 90s. So that's the retaining wall, and it serves as an erosion protection measure. As per the RDB and GSB branches, the cribwork is now highly damaged and will need to be replaced. As shown on the photo, the seaward tilting of the cribwork could also be the result of landslide processes at that location. So we suggest nature-based solutions to stabilize the coastline in the future as per the Climate Change Action Plan. Regarding their neighborhood character and project impact, we review land uses in the neighborhood. So we use a radius of approximately 500 meters, and we can see that it's a mix of several zones. We have residential zones. The low density is here represented in yellow, medium density in orange, mobile mini home is in burgundy red, institutional in blue, and commercial in bright red. We also can see the park and sport field, which is in green on this map. Then we also review the activities, and we can see that there is single and two-family homes along Riverside Drive, a mobile home park located across the street to the west, 2 nursing homes, 2 institutions, CCMB and Superior Middle School. For the visual impact, as mentioned before, this is the photo they gave as an example of what they want to build. So it illustrates the type and architecture of the proposed building. However, if council wishes, they can ask to see more detailed floor and elevation plans before the rezoning bylaws are adopted in second reading, so that they can be incorporated into the conditions that will be attached to them. The proposed development will increase the overall activity that would surpass the existing conditions and patterns of activity in the neighborhood. Considering Riverside Drive is a collector road, any higher traffic generated by this development will less likely pass through the lower density residential streets. Residents and businesses in the area may object to the proposed development of the property. However, the proposed development would have a positive impact by answering to the increasing need of housing, by recycling an existing underused building, by adding more dynamic to the area, and by making great use of the existing infrastructures. The site plan submitted by the applicant is conceptual, and therefore the final approved development could vary from that which is presented now. No timeline or phasing has been specified yet, and detailed site plan, floor plans, elevation plans will be required to fully assess compliance of project. Any change or additional development will still be subject to the applicable zoning regulations, along with any potential conditions that council wishes to impose. If the rezoning is approved, the applicant will require a building permit from the planning team. We circulated a request for comments to get stakeholders' input. So it was circulated to city departments and provincial departments. The Department of Engineering mentioned that no issue was detected regarding the proposed development. The Water Course and Wetland Alteration Branch mentioned that, this was mentioned previously, so they mentioned a tidal watercourse and provincially significant wetland, which is currently unmapped, is to be considered into the process. The EIA branch mentioned that no need to have an EIA reviewed before the project can proceed, and if there are any changes, updated information must be submitted to review the decision. The RDB and GSB branches, after a site visit, mentioned that the creepwork is highly damaged and will need to be replaced, and also that the tilting of the creepwork could be a result of landslide processes. Coastal erosion rates calculated for the area, as mentioned, are very slow. However, other factors should be taken into consideration. So there is the fragility of soils linked to poor drainage conditions, the possibility of landslides, or formation of sinkholes. It is recommended by the Planning Department that the City of Bathurst amend the municipal plan map to change the designation from institutional to integrated development, and the zoning map to change the zoning from institutional to integrated development. I have to note that in an integrated development, any project will have to be in conformity of the specific proposal described in the resolution or agreement adopted as per section 59 of the CPA. So the request is for the subject property, which mentioned is located at 495 Riverside Drive, and to allow the construction of an 8-story multi-family dwelling with 28 residential units and commercial spaces on the first floor. That would be subject to terms and conditions pursuant to Section 59 of the CPA, which are the following. Any new access point between the property and Riverside Drive must be approved by the Public Works. The owner must obtain all required permits, so if that is for cutting any vegetation or any work within the buffer zone of 30 meters from a water course or wetland, they need a WAWA permit. All provisions of the zoning bylaw continue to apply. A geotechnical study will be required prior to issuance of a building permit. Site development and construction plans must be approved by the city before a building permit is issued. More conditions may be added as recommended by PAC and requested by Council. And lastly, this is the process timeline to give an idea. So as of today, which is the public presentation, we'll have a PAC meeting tomorrow, and the public hearing will be on October 7th. So public has 30 days from today to give written comments to the city clerk regarding this project, and if they wish to address council on the written comments, they may do so at the public hearing. If anyone likes to have more information, they may contact the City of Bathurst Planning Department. And after that, we have adoption of conditions and second reading and third reading. Those will be later on. And that ends the presentation for the first application.
All right. Does council have any questions, comments? Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for your presentation.
My pleasure.
So the general public can get access to all this information that you just presented tonight? Can they get a copy of it, or just online, or how does that work?
So online, it's more the public notices that are available. We are not yet at the stage where they can have this, but if requested, since it's already public as of today, they can have a copy.
They can have a copy.
Yes.
Now we're looking at
Yes,
we're looking at
absolutely.
28 apartments, and say if there's 2 people per apartment, you're
Yeah.
looking at a number of people moving into this unit.
Yes.
And I must say, it's a great place to live. I just live down the road.
Yeah.
And it's more than just a place to live. It's a quality of life that goes with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people walk the bridges. They walk the causeway, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So that brings me to my question. It was mentioned last time about a crosswalk maybe being needed on a little blind hill that goes down to the Cove Bridge.
Okay.
Can this be looked at to see if it's necessary?
Yes, we can definitely. As mentioned, if council wishes to add more conditions, to request more, let's say, review of some aspect of the project, it can be requested. So we can definitely review that and see how that can be added.
Okay.
Yes.
And I have been stopped by a number of people looking to see when this is going to happen, because to live on the water and to live in this location, there's some people are very interested in retirement years. So, thank you.
My pleasure.
Councillor Legacy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just curious, the crib work that needs to be fixed,
Yeah.
is that on the developer, or is that on the province or the city? Who has to actually repair that?
So, I think the mayor has to give you.
Yes, I have to give you permission to speak.
The reason I'm asking, I'm just curious, because does that continue past the property? Is there more work that would need to be done, or?
So when they mentioned comments from the province, they said it's along. I think it's over the property for sure. So, however, just this side on the property has, the tilting process happening. So that means it needs to be repaired for that property just around that area.
Okay. No.
And to answer to the question, it might be the developer, because that's what the province actually asked. They mentioned in their comment.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. No other questions or comments. We can move on to the proposed municipal plan and zoning bylaw amendment for property located at 1765 St. Peter's Avenue.
Okay. Thank you so much. So the second application will be, is from Mr. Arsenault, and the request is to change the municipal plan map, to change the designation from commercial to residential, and zoning map to change the zoning from highway commercial to single and 2-unit residential. And that is for the subject property located at 1765 St. Peter Avenue in the city of Bathurst, to allow the construction of a single-family home. We can see we have an aerial view of the subject property here. And this is a closer view where we can see the property overlooks the Tetagouche River. And this is an oblique view. Let's see the residential units which are next to the property on the other side of St. Peter Avenue. We also have the property which shows a lot of trees. And we have a big building which is a business, a car dealership. The lot has an irregular shape. It has an area of approximately 3.68 hectares, a lot frontage of approximately 145 meters on St. Peter. The access is off St. Peter, and it's actually serviced with municipal water only. Sewer is not available. And actually it's vacant and covered by trees. For land features, the property slopes down towards the river to the west, the basin to the south, and St. Peter Avenue to the east. According to provincial maps, the property does not appear to be affected by flood levels predicted for 2100. For the past usage of the property, it has long been a dwelling several decades ago, and in 2002, a rezoning of the property was requested from residential to highway commercial to allow a resort complex, which includes a spa, cottages, hotel, motel, tourist recreation center, tourist recreation activity, restaurant, and convention meeting. So the request was approved with conditions. I have a list of the conditions, and I'll quickly just mention that the owner is required to develop the property with little disturbance to the natural environment. On-site sewage disposal systems are prohibited, so sewers must be connected to the municipal network. A 30-meter buffer zone is established between the development and the Tetagouche River, unless an exemption is granted by DELG. And for the trees, only diseased or dead trees must be felled within the buffer zone. This development was never realized, and the land has remained vacant. Only the water line runs along St. Peter Avenue in front of the property, and the owner plans to connect to it whenever possible. So the water line is the one we can see in blue on the second picture, and sewer services in green, we can see that they're not available, so a private wastewater system will be required. The applicant is proposing to construct a single-family home. No plan has been submitted yet. The current access to the property, which is represented in red dotted line, lies partly within the 30-meter buffer zone around the wetlands. The owner plans to keep the existing access, and it is important to mention that the owner obtained permission from the city in 2020 to change the entrance. The rezoning bylaw should contain a condition that the location of any access to the lot from St. Peter Avenue must be approved by Public Works. Since the owner's intention is to build a single dwelling, no new streets or other subdivisions are planned. Then we have the regulatory context. As mentioned, the municipal plan serves to guide day-to-day decisions affecting development. As per the municipal plan, the subject property is designated commercial. That's the one we can see with the yellow dotted line. And St. Peter Avenue is an arterial road. As per the zoning bylaw, the property is zoned as highway commercial, and the proposed use being a residential use, it is not permitted under the current zone. It would be allowed in the R2 zone, which is single and 2-unit residential. We will quickly review the permitted uses in the highway commercial zone, and we can see that it has a variety of uses permitted except the residential zone uses. And for the R2 zone, we can see that one of the main uses allowed is a 1 or 2-unit dwelling or semi-detached, which is the proposed use from the applicant. Then we have the watercourse and wetland alteration regulation, and it applies to this project since the property borders the Tatagush River. Then any work within the 30 meters of a watercourse or wetland would require a WAWA permit. Several wetlands surrounding the property, south and west, are of provincial importance, which we can see presented in yellow. Part of the property to be rezoned lies within the 30 meters buffer. Given the topography and profile of the site, the land may have to be cleared or prepared for any work or construction, so that means cutting trees or any work required. Because of that, it is important to mention that sediment released during this work must not be allowed to end up in the river and wetlands. Chemical and bacteriological contamination must also be avoided, and as mentioned, any work within the 30-meter buffer zone will need a WAWA permit. And we have to mention that the property is within a critical habitat for maritime ringlet. Regarding the neighborhood character and project impact, we review land uses in the neighborhood. So for a radius of approximately 500 meters, we can see there is a mix of several zones. We have residential zones, low density is in yellow, medium density in orange, parks in green, institutional in blue, and commercial in bright red. Then for the activities, to the north, there are large highway commercial businesses, including car dealerships and garage, and other businesses. There is also the CCNB campus and New Hall Drive. To the east, across St. Peter, we have 3 residential dwellings. To south and west, it is largely occupied by the Tatagush River, wetlands, and steep slopes. Then for the visual impact, we do believe that the construction of a single-family dwelling will have no negative visual impact on the surrounding area. The site is relatively wooded, and it is likely that the owner will want to keep as many trees as possible to act as a visual and sound screen. That said, it is possible that the owner will want to cut trees to clear the view of the Tatagush River. It is the responsibility of both the province and the landowner to ensure that tree cutting complies with watercourse and wetland protection standards. The proposed development will less likely increase the overall activity, which would surpass the existing conditions and patterns of activity in the neighborhood. This zoning change will allow for less intensive uses compared to those currently permitted under the 2002 rezoning and most other uses permitted in the nearby commercial zones. It is less likely that residents and businesses in the area will object to the proposed development of the property. No timeline or phasing has been specified yet. Detailed site plan, floor plans, and elevation plans will be required to fully assess compliance of project. Any change or additional development will still be subject to the applicable zoning regulations, along with any potential conditions that Council wishes to impose. If the rezoning is approved, the applicant will require a building permit from the planning team. And as usual, a request for comments was circulated to city departments and provincial departments. So from the Wawa branch, it is mentioned that part of the property falls within the 30 meters buffer, and for any work, a Wawa permit must be acquired. They also mentioned that it is important to avoid depositing sediment and contaminants into the waterway. And it will be important to have a response plan in any case that there is sediments or contaminant deposited into the waterway accidentally. And they also mentioned that clarification is needed around on-site sewage disposal systems, because it was mentioned from the 2002 rezoning conditions that on-site sewage disposal systems are prohibited. So a connection to municipal system is required. And from the EIA branch, the property is within critical habitat for maritime ringlet. It is recommended by the planning department that the city of Bathurst amend the municipal plan map to change the designation from commercial to residential, and the zoning map to change the zoning from highway commercial to single and two-unit residential. That would be for the subject property located at 1765 St. Peter Avenue in the city of Bathurst to allow the construction of a single-family home. That would be subject to the following terms and conditions pursuant to Section 59 of the CPA. Only one dwelling will be permitted on the property. No new lots or streets may be subdivided. Any access point between the property and St. Peter Avenue, including the existing access, must be approved by the Public Works Department. The owner must obtain all required permits, so that would be for cutting vegetation or clearing land, and also get a Wawa permit if required. All provisions of the zoning bylaw continue to apply. The owner is encouraged to develop the site with as little disturbance to the environment as possible and to retain as many trees as possible. More conditions may be added as recommended by PAC and requested by Council. And this is the process timeline, which is similar as the first application. So the public can give their written comments within 13 days as of today. And that ends the presentation.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments? Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for your presentation. I'm still not clear in the driveway. Is the driveway come to a street in the subdivision, or does it come right out on St. Peter Avenue?
It's off St. Peter Avenue, and I'm just going to try to go back to it. So it's an access that was granted. Let me just...
That red line you showed us at the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's the access. Oh, sorry, this is it.
Okay, it's right
So that's the one with the represented in the red dotted line.
Oh, okay, so
Yes.
it comes right out in St. Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, no other questions. Thank you very much for your presentation.
My pleasure.
So we'll move on to Daly Point Nature Reserve presentation update by Miss Lisa Noel. I love Daly Point. Beautiful. Oh, sorry. Okay. My apologies. The mic. All right. We'll start this again.
It's okay. Hi, everyone. Me and my team thought it was about time that I would come meet everyone. I'm Lisa. I'm the new coordinator at Daly Point. I've been there for 2 years now. And we've just had our Q3 meeting, and we figured I'd come and present what we've had been doing lately, just to give you an idea of what's to come and all that stuff. So this is just to review everything that we did since May. So we started this new thing. This was actually started last year. So we started putting stories on trees with the help of the Bathurst Library. Stories are available both in French and English. And right now our current story is Jack and the Beanstalk. This is what they look like. And we put them at level where the kids can actually see them and interact with the panels, which is really fun. We do offer them in French and English, and I'm looking into like a third language to include because we do have a lot of newcomers to Bathurst. So I think it would be a great way for them just to come spend time in nature and get to read with their families Something else that we started last year was Bob Ross paint nights with my past summer student. So we get 10 people to come in the center, and then we just paint nature themes stuff. And it has been a very big hit. There's not a lot of nights that we have less than 8 people, and we can only accommodate about 10. So this is what our posts on Facebook look like. And then this is an example. This was the first night that we actually did the Bob Ross night, so everyone was showing off their paintings. And 2 of the girls actually showed up with Bob Ross aprons, and I'm still waiting for someone to come in with the afro. So it's really fun times that we get to chit chat and just talk about nature in general, and it's a fun little activity. Another one that we've been doing a lot is foraging activities. So this is something that has picked up in popularity a lot in the past few years. So we go out and we talk about the different edible and medicinal plants available in our region. We talk about the precautions that need to be taken with certain plants, especially with mushrooms and their poison lookalikes. I've been doing this now for 5 years, so I'm still technically a beginner, so we don't go too far, but we do a lot of the plants. This is one of our most popular activity. Attendance is always full, and we sometimes pick up more people on the way. So we'll start with a group of 20, and by the time we get back to the entrance, we're about 30, 35. And this is one of our biggest groups that we had. That was really fun. We do art and science activity days. This is geared for the kids that are between the ages of 6 up to 13. We have 4 days a year presently. I'm trying to work out to get some more. So we do a full day of just activities from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. based on either art or science, and sometimes we mix it up. So last time we did lots of painting. We brought them out on the field, and it was a lot of, let's gather some leaves and see how the shapes make imprints. We use clay, and we talk about fossils and how fossils are formed over the years. And then we get to show them, and they get to bring their work home. We also work with terrariums. So every one of the kids that came in so far do these little aquariums. They're about the size of a mason jar. And we show them the different layers and how important it is to keep these things living. This was my last group that we had. You can see the terrarium, some clay work, the leaves. A lot of the times the kids will leave with a bag full of leaves at home because they are too attached. They don't want to throw them out. And then this was the same group that were on their painting activity. We had so many school visits this year. It's been a blessing, really. So we've had all over from Bathurst, Beresford, Tirachet, Tracadie, Caracat, even Miramichi. Miramichi CCMB came up with their environmental tech classes. And also the Bathurst CCNB comes quite often. That is where I come from. That is my class, so it's really great to see them. They've been doing a lot of projects with Daily Point, and there's a lot more coming. I'm actually meeting 2 teachers this week so we can talk about other projects coming in. For an example, one of them made a beautiful bug hotel that we'll be putting out in our field this year. And then another one made a painting with a local artist called Ari, and it's 2 squirrels kind of fighting over the pine cones and whatnot. It's very Daily Point. I love it. So that was really fun. This is one of the pictures that I've taken. There is I have to ask permissions for the parents for the kids' faces. So in this case, I get them to face the building. We can't tell who it is. So it's just like, go yay in front of the building, and then I snap a shot. What else? This is the group that did the awesome little project. So I had Jean-Marc make the bug hotel. I had a few pamphlets in there. It was really fun. Where the girl made a beautiful stories for her trees that will be coming out this autumn. I'm not going to spoil it before it comes out. We had our Ducks Unlimited classes. This was a lot of fun. We had 10 classes come in, mostly from Terry Fox. And then we also had l'Académie Absomption. So we did critter dipping, migratory blunder, and wetland values, which are 3 games that they get to learn more about what lives in wetlands. And the critter dipping is really hands-on. We give them a net, we put them in the pond, and they fish out bugs, and then we identify what they find. This is this is all material given out by BHS students or ESN. This year was mainly BHS, so they get taught by the Ducks Unlimited teachers, and then they review the material with the kids. So this is a picture of them getting their training. And then this is what we found in our pond. So we have a damselfly and some leeches. Something else that we've been doing is using iNaturalist to digitally catalog all of Daly Point's nature of flora and fauna. So we have over 1,666 observations in total, 460 species recorded. So this is going to help us a lot with finding invasive species and stuff like this. They do get flagged whenever they come up on the app. And as is written down, if anyone has questions about this app, come see me at Daly Point. We'll sit down and talk, because I can talk your ear off about this one. I'm not going to do that today. This is a screenshot of our website that I'm using. So you can see all the stats of our observations. And when you see the species one in the middle, you can really tell, like, it goes from fungi, plants, mollusks, everything that has been accorded a color. So the main one is going to be plants, because we are the woods. So some of the things that are ongoing, again, we are an official point on the Butterfly Highway with the David Suzuki Foundation, with the help of Renee Saint-Pierre and Holly Russi. We've installed these really big flower pots, and in those flower pots, it's all native species. So we have milkweed and, I'm blanking, black-eyed Susans. So these are actually really good for the environment. They're really good for the butterflies in the area, and of course, it adds a pop of color to the very brown building that we have. And thanks to a few squirrels, we actually had quite a few sunflowers pop up from these. As you can see, we have one right there. The other thing that we're doing, I am in charge of the Swift Watch at the old post office, so I count them every year. The counts went well this year. The numbers aren't that great, but it is an ongoing process. I'm dealing with Birds Canada now, and we're trying to figure out what is going on. This is the chimney in question. Of course, everyone can recognize the beautiful clock tower. And then some maintenance update. So walking through the Salt Marsh and Warbler Trail, we're noticing that a lot of the areas underneath are starting to rot. So these are all 4x4s, and it's a wetland, so it's going to get rotten very, really fast. We're going to be needing to change this starting next year, really big chunks, or we're going to lose parts of the trail. So that's why I have dedicated that's why having a dedicated summer student that would work just for Daly Point would be really helpful for us there. There's a lot of things that this person could be doing for next year. We're talking about mowing, trail whipping, and helping Sam with any other things that he might need on the trail. It is an ongoing thing, and we want to make sure that the trails stay nice and beautiful for the public. So far, it's been great. We got a heat pump installed in the center, and this will help with our energy expenditure. Well, it helps with the airflow and helps cool us down in the summer, because it is hot in there. And we currently have 2 lookouts that are presently closed to the public on trail number 7. And after talking with Goliath Tech last week, they mentioned that they would start in the next 2 weeks, so just in time for a fall busy season. So hopefully we'll see those open real soon. And that's all I have. Questions?
All right. Thank you. Do we have any? Oh, okay. Yep, we're lit up here. Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to say it's certainly a gem in our city. I live not far from Daly Point, and it's been there. It's utilized more and more as the years go on. It's nice to see. Seems like you have a lot of active programs going on. You have a amount of amount of people that have gone through there so far this year?
I don't have this year's yet, because they are still in our counter. But last year we topped over 33,000.
Okay, that's great. That's great.
Oh yeah, like it's picking up.
Yeah, great to hear. Thank you.
No problem.
Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for your presentation. I had out-of-town company at home this weekend, and one of the pictures I was showing them was my wife standing on one of your trails, holding her hand out, and the chickadee feeding right from her hand, and my granddaughter was the same thing. And then on the way back, a fox sort of kept us company on the way out, so nature's all around. It was pretty neat. But I get back to the chimney swift, or chimney sweep, the bird. Chimney swift. I was reading an article where they are building now these false chimneys for the chimney swift, because there's less and less chimneys in the construction of homes today, or buildings of any kind, and they are building these chimneys now in places like Daly Point. Have you guys ever looked at that for the chimney swift?
I personally haven't looked for Daily Point. It is something I've looked into before because we've learned a lot about it in the college class that I took. And they do have one, I believe, in New Brunswick that I plan on visiting to see if it's something that could be possible.
Because that's really neat to see them all go into a chimney.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's a
how
real
they go in
whirlwind.
there at top speed, you know, so, yeah, okay, thank you.
All right. Deputy Mayor Willett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for your presentation. Yeah, there's another type of bird that's set up near the chimney at the old post office. And that's what we're wondering, if it's that bird that's stopping the chimney swift from going there.
Yeah,
It's
the
pretty aggressive. So
European starling.
yeah,
It is very aggressive. We've known about it for since last year, the year before, and there's not much we can do right now. I am planning on trying to do a aerial survey of the chimney to see if there's a nest inside the chimney right at the top. It could explain the fact that why it's being so aggressive. So it's in the plans. I just have to wait until the bird migrates and leaves. I can't do anything until that bird is gone.
okay. And as far as your 4x4s that you need, is it something that Mr. Wilbur's planning on getting for you for the summer? Or?
I think this is yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Noel, thank you for doing a good job. I was there last year, which was quite interesting. Anyway, it was with some of the staff, so we were trying to determine what poop it was, what kind of animal poop it was.
I did not bring that today.
No, you didn't bring it today anyway. I failed royally, so it was quite interesting, but I did fail royally, so imagine sitting there looking at different species poop, animals poop. Yes, so maintenance. It is very important. You know, we have the waterfront, we have Daly's Point, and Mr. Wilbur and I have had this conversation, and I think I've told him on many occasions so far this summer to really ask for more money within his department. We've said it for Public Works in the past. It's really important that we commit for Parks and Recreation because it's part of tourists and so many attractions, and we need to keep the upkeep. So I'm sure he will be going 100% to try to get all these maintenance done for you by next year. And ideally, if we can have more summer students, to have one full-time for you. But again, that will be Mr. Wilbur's department. We'll cross our fingers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we are going to go under finances, which will be accounts payable total for July 2024. Ms. Parker.
That the accounts payable totals, including payroll, for the month of July 2024 be approved as follows. Operating, $1,151,020. Capital, $295,457, for a total of $2,827,117.
All right, I'll need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Branch, seconded by Councillor Knowles. Before we go to the question, Monsieur Laplante, je vais te donner. Tu pèses ton bouton? Là. OK.
Merci, Madame la Mairesse. The following is a summary of disbursements for both operating and capital funds for the month of July 2024. So in the capital fund, we have a payment of $140,753 to RH Fernet. That's for the St. Anne booster station. A payment to Controls and Equipment Limited, $55,082 for City Hall HVAC upgrade. You have Design Build Mechanical Inc. received a payment of $49,220 for the water treatment plant lamella replacement. Payment of $13,099 to Force One Automotive, that's for police vehicle equipment, and a payment of $37,303 to Black and McDonald for emergency generators. So that's a total under the capital fund of $295,457. Dans le fonds opérationnel, on a un paiement de $119 057 à Saint-Isidore Asphalte, c'est pour des différents travaux routiers. $134 690 à Énergie Nouveau-Brunswick pour l'électricité. 30 770 $ à Irving Energy pour le diesel et l'huile en vrac. Gloucester Sealer and Asphalt, 34 303 $ pour le marquage de ligne, donc 50%. Sansom Equipment, un paiement de 26 082 $. C'est pour le corps de pompe de rechange pour la station de surpression ouest. Great Aero Engineered Storage System received payment of $20,264 for the east-west booster station and clear well cleaning. Charlotte Regional Service Commission, a payment of $19,150. Those are for tipping fees. Payment of $17,086 to Modern Pumps and Metals. That's for parts to rebuild pumps. Paculin Solutions received $22,390. That's the annual hosting fee and for support. Seascape Landscaping Limited, $14,225 for sidewalk brick repairs. Various promoters received $213,111. That's the payout for Paculin events. Funds were collected on behalf of promoters. And we have other recurring payments for $499,893. So various smaller recurrent invoices, animal control repairs, supplies, promoter settlement for tickets. So we have a total under the operational fund of $1,151,000, and in addition, $1,380,640 for payroll. That's for 5 pay periods. That is my summary, Your Worship.
All right. Do we have any questions, comments? Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a question, more of a question. I don't know if you would have that info.
We'll try.
See, Mr. Abernathy's not here tonight. I was just going to ask about the emergency generators. Have they been purchased for specific buildings, city buildings, or?
You were correct. I don't have the answer, but I will follow up and get the answer.
I'll withdraw the question. It's
Follow
okay.
up by-
It's all right.
It's
fine.
all right. Follow up by email. All right. Any other questions? No? Okay. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Right, so we fall under municipal bylaws. A bylaw designated portion of roads within the city of Bathurst as accessible to off-road vehicle. We'll go to 811, third reading of bylaw 2024-03. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2024-03 entitled A Bylaw Designating Portions of the Roads Within the City of Bathurst as Accessible to Off-Road Vehicles be read for the third time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move and second. Councillor Hondas, seconded by Councillor Legacy. Any questions? Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Lately in the media and the news, there's been a lot of reports of accidents with side-by-sides and four-wheelers. And I'd like to know, since we've been proactive at allowing these vehicles to come into our city, have we had any incidents that we should know about? I think that it's good what we're doing because it's part of where we live and people are, coming to our city because of it. But, are we having troubles?
Good question. Monsieur Laplante, we have somebody here. Could I ask him to take the mic?
None that I'm aware of, but
Jacques, seriez-vous intéressé de venir au micro?
Avec plaisir, parce que la question est très pertinente. On sait tous qu'il y a eu un décès qui est survenu sur la route 11. Et nous sommes convaincus que si le nouveau sentier qu'on va construire dans les prochaines semaines, s'il avait été construit, que ce décès-là aurait pu être évité.
Okay.
Voilà.
The other question I have is, these are great rules laid out and there's a great explanation of where people are allowed, but how do we get that message out? How do four-wheelers and people who use these machines know where they're permitted and where they're not? And is there an event that happens in order to explain this to new drivers, or what? How does that go?
We gladly have the answer to that. We are working right now with in putting together a commission that will put at the same table people from all around the country, representatives from the industry, snowmobile and ATV industry. We have already started to work on that. We had the first meeting, and because of the summer, we had to postpone it until September. But we have started to work on that. We will come up with some materials, some media education, and probably with some new laws. And in the meantime, regarding Bathurst, yes, as we did with all the other bylaws, just keep in mind that this is just an amendment to the bylaw. Mm-hmm. It's just new streets that were added, so it's nothing new for the people of Bathurst or our users. So it's the education through the Facebook pages that will be announced as soon as the trail will be completely built. Then there's a process that we will respect as we did in the previous years. It's so successful. I think Bathurst is the perfect example that all the municipalities throughout the province look at.
Mm-hmm.
And will our police officers be involved in setting this up?
Yes.
So that they know how to,
yes.
Deal with the machines on the road?
Yes, yes. They will be aware of the new roads. In other words, there's only 2 roads that will be added to it, Middle River and a part of St. Anne, mm-hmm. and that's it. All the other streets are already been approved through another bylaw. It's just the way that we will enforce it and apply it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Juste encore. Ça vous dérange pas?
Merci, Jacques, pour ton gros travail là-dessus, puis finalement, ça va venir en œuvre. La seule petite inquiétude que j'ai, c'est comme quand M. Brunel disait, c'est la police. J'ai vu sur le Facebook qu'il y avait un 4 roues qui était sur la route sans licence, mm-hmm. sans assurance. C'est ça le message qu'il faut vraiment qu'on donne au monde, que faut être licencié, il faut avoir les trail pass, puis j'aurais aimé que le chef de police aurait pu être aujourd'hui pour voir sa façon de penser là-dessus aussi. C'est peut-être une question qu'on pourrait demander, qui pourrait nous revenir là-dessus. C'est vraiment important que moi je reste à East, puis c'est là le premier chemin qui a été désigné correct, puis des fois je vois des 4 roues sans licence,
oui.
C'est ça mon inquiétude, ça prend seulement une mauvaise pomme, comme qu'ils disent, pour te gâcher ton beau travail. So, je sais que, comme la société, vous ne pouvez pas grand-chose pour ça, mais j'aimerais vraiment qu'on passe le mot que vous êtes sûr d'avoir vos garanties, puis même si les polices font un spot check une fois de temps en temps, si ils sont pognés, ils casseront la loi, c'est pour le bon de vous autres, puis de nous autres aussi. Là, so.
Cette solution-là va faire partie des recommandations soumises par la commission, la nouvelle commission qui est en train d'être mise sur pied. Ça peut aller de l'augmentation des amendes, ça peut aller dans la diminution ou l'augmentation de l'âge légal de conduire un quad. Ça peut passer partout. On ne se fera pas aimer par certaines personnes, mais ça va passer partout. Et puis, on considère qu'avec les nouvelles recommandations qui vont être soumises à la sécurité publique et au nouveau gouvernement, que ces recommandations vont faire une grosse différence. Et nous, on le voit comme ça va aider aux municipalités à peut-être avoir des meilleurs accès. N'oubliez pas que c'est peut-être même pas 0,5% de gens qui nous causent des problèmes. Alors, il faut s'attarder à ce 0,5%-là. Et on espère d'avoir des bonnes solutions un jour, d'ici quelques mois seulement.
Parfait. Merci.
Yeah.
Mon mari s'en a acheté un. Ah? Et écoute, j'ai pas réalisé qu'il y a autant de monde qui fait du 4 roues, le side-by-side, peu importe le quadre. Mais c'est incroyable. C'est comme une communauté oui. dans la forêt que les gens... Puis de voir, la plupart, tout le monde qui est là, respecte et fait attention parce qu'ils oui. ont tellement peur de perdre cette licence-là, puis cette liberté-là d'être capable de partir en arrière de la maison. Là.
Oui, oui. Ouais. Et je me permets de dire que une fois que la nouvelle connexion, qu'on pourrait traverser Bathurst, aller chercher tout le trafic, vous savez ce qui est arrivé avec le pont Anderson en fin de semaine, la semaine dernière, ça va permettre à tout le trafic du sud de la province de passer par où? Par Bathurst. Mm-hmm. Et n'oubliez pas que le club VTT Chaleur, si la tendance se maintient, vont devenir le club le plus important au Canada en frais de membres.
Mm-hmm.
Alors, bravo. Et
Vraiment bien. Merci.
grâce à vous aussi. Merci.
Merci. All right, so we're ready for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So we'll go to a bylaw to establish a planning advisory committee for the city of Bathurst. So we will ask Deputy Mayor Willett. Okay. So we go to the first reading of bylaw 2024-10. Ms. Parker.
That the proposed bylaw 2024-10 entitled A Bylaw to Establish a Planning Advisory Committee for the City of Bathurst shall be read 3 times by title as per requirements specified in the Local Governance Act, Section 15.3, and that the above-mentioned proposed bylaw may be examined by contacting the city clerk during regular office hours, and that the above-mentioned proposed bylaw shall be posted to the City of Bathurst website and Facebook page as per the Local Governance Act, Section 71C, and that the purpose of the aforementioned proposed bylaw is to create a formal committee responsible for advising members of council on various planning-related matters as per the Community Planning Act. Be it resolved that the proposed bylaw 2024-10 entitled A Bylaw to Establish a Planning Advisory Committee for the City of Bathurst be read for the first time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move and someone to second. Councillor Scarry, seconded by Councillor Burnett. Do we have any questions? Councillor Burnett?
Well, thanks, Madam Mayor. We already have a planning advisory committee. What's this all about?
OK. Monsieur Laplante, est-ce que je peux... Allez-y.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Burnett. We currently have a bylaw that establishes a PAC, and we have a council policy on PAC. The bylaw is currently one that dates from 2006. The policy dates from 1991, and especially the policy is a bit out of line with what our legislative requirements are. What we're proposing to do is we're taking a few aspects from the policy and distributing it into the bylaw so that council can set the expenses paid to the members of the Planning Advisory Committee. We will be recommending that we repeal the policy once the bylaw is adopted so that PAC itself can adopt its own rules of procedure. That's the process set out in the Community Planning Act, so that PAC has the flexibility to look at their constitution and to make the changes that they require to run properly or effectively. Of course, that constitution or those rules of procedure will be it will be a public document that'll be available at any time for council or members of the public.
So by changing the rules or changing the setup, it won't affect any of the decisions that have been made in the past, will it?
No, it will not.
Nothing at all.
No.
Thank you.
Answer your question. All right, Councillor Knowles. Oh, hold on, Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Now, we can have up to eight committee members, right, on PAC. Are we at a full complement now, or we added one recently? My memory serves you correct. Are we at full complement now?
Oh,
Mr. McLaughlin is confirming that we do, yeah.
hold on, I'll give you the mic, Mr.
We have there is no vacancy, and we have the full committee in place.
Okay, that's great.
Good?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Allez-y, Monsieur Laplante. Là, pesez votre bouton. Okay. Allez-y.
Just a quick note also, we brought this at the committee of the whole meeting last week, and it was mentioned by council that it wished to see the expense be increased from $40 to $100. So that change has been made. It's in the bylaw that is in your package.
All right. Good. Okay. All ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We will go to the second reading of bylaw 2024-10. Ms. Parker.
That bylaw 2024-10, entitled A Bylaw to Establish a Planning Advisory Committee for the City of Bathurst, be read for the second time by title.
All right, I'll need someone to move and second. Moved by Councillor Branch, seconded by Councillor Legacy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Councillor Legacy, would you go get Deputy Mayor Willett? Thank you. Closer to the door. Okay. We fall under draft resolution, lease renewal for Promenade Waterfront.
That the lease at the Promenade Waterfront for the following business be renewed for 2024-2025, Monty's Pretzelia, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign all related documents on behalf of the city.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Knoll, seconded by Councillor Legacy. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Go under amendment to the municipal plan and zoning bylaw pursuant to section 111 of the Community Planning Act. So 495 Riverside Drive. Ms. Parker.
Whereas the City of Bathurst proposes to amend bylaw number 2006-01 entitled the City of Bathurst Municipal Plan Bylaw and bylaw 2008-01 entitled the City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw to allow the designation and use of the following lands as follows. Change the zoning of the parcel located at 495 Riverside Drive and bearing PID 20008553. For the purpose of the municipal plan, the land use designation is changed from institutional to integrated development. For the purpose of the zoning bylaw, the zoning is changed from institutional IN to integrated development ID. The purpose of this rezoning is to allow the construction of an 8-story multifamily dwelling with commercial space on the first floor. Be it resolved that A. Bylaws amending the municipal plan and zoning bylaw be drafted for this purpose. B. The city clerk, acting on behalf of the council, see that the public notice prescribed in Section 111 of the Community Planning Act is posted on the municipality's website to announce the council's intention, the date, and place for the consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws, and C. Consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws takes place at 6:30 p.m. on October 7, 2024 in council chambers.
All right, I'll need someone to move in second. Councillor Branch, seconded by Deputy Mayor Willett. Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 9.22, 1765 St. Peter's Avenue. Ms. Parker.
Whereas the City of Bathurst proposes to amend bylaw number 2006-01 entitled the City of Bathurst Municipal Plan Bylaw and bylaw 2008-01 entitled the City of Bathurst Zoning Bylaw to allow the designation and use of the following lands as follows. Change the zoning of the parcel located at 1765 St. Peter Avenue and bearing PID 208-03029 for the purpose of the municipal plan. The land use designation is changed from commercial to residential. For the purpose of the zoning bylaw, the zoning is changed from highway commercial HC to single and unit dwelling R2. The purpose of this rezoning is to allow the construction of a single family dwelling. Be it resolved that A. Bylaws amending the municipal plan and zoning bylaw be drafted for this purpose. B. The city clerk, acting on behalf of the council, see that the public notice prescribed in Section 111 of the Community Planning Act is posted on the municipality's website to announce the council's intention, the day, and place for consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws, and C. Consideration of objections to the proposed bylaws takes place at 6:30 p.m. on October 7, 2024 in the council chambers.
All right, I'll need someone to move. Councillor Hondas, seconded by Councillor Scary. Ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We fall under 2024 grants distribution. We have two, so we will do them individually. Ms. Parker?
That the grant distribution be approved as follows, as discussed by the Grants Committee. $1,000 to the International Grill Day, hosted by La Luga Night Bar Resto Incorporated.
All right, I'll need someone to move and second. Moved by Councillor Knowles, seconded by Deputy Mayor Willett. We have a question. Councillor Branch.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just curious, like, we have a for-profit business looking for a grant to hold an event. Is that something that we normally do, or?
Good question. Not that I'm aware of. I'm looking at you, Monsieur Laplante.
Not that I'm aware of. That might be a bit of an argument that you're making, but I'm not sure what the deliberations were at the committee level.
I think that when they did the presentation, the purpose behind it, and of course I'm just gonna, is because they want to showcase different foods, different vendors, and that would be to pay for the food. But again, they are for profit, so it does bring an open, who's on the committee? So I can go to someone that's on the committee.
Councillor Scary and Councillor Burnett.
Okay, Councillor Burnett, I'll go to you if you're okay with that, Councillor Branch, and I'll come back.
Thank you. It's outside of the regular business activity. It's a totally unique activity, and it's to encourage all the newcomers to our community to gather, so that like we know we have people from 62 different countries now living in Bathurst, and this business wants to get them together for a friendly barbecue and outdoors near their business. So it's not part of the regular business thing, but they have the ability to put it on. But it does cost extra money to get the foods and get the material necessary to have this type of activity for our newcomers. So it probably would be a very good friendly day for all these newcomers to meet and greet, and not just to support that business.
Okay, and then we'll go to Councillor Scary.
Yeah.
That's okay, because you're on the committee as well, and then Councillor Branch, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, we looked at it as something that would not only be for the newcomers as well, but also an opportunity for residents of the Bathurst area to familiarize themselves and get acquainted with some of the newcomers and the new people that are coming to the city, and to experience some of the culinary food,
dishes,
the dishes and that kind of thing, and some of their customs and those kinds of things. The plan, from what we understand, is for them to make this not just a one-time event, but a multi-year event, and expand on it. So we just thought it would be something that would be very, very good to help them, welcome them to the community, and also just get the rest of the people to participate and be able to participate and experience it as well.
Right, Councillor Branch, we'll go back to you if you want to hit your button, because okay, you're good to go.
Okay. No, I think it's a great idea, and I commend the owners for doing it. It's just, if we were doing something in kind, I would feel better about that. I just think we're setting a precedent here. Like, we have hundreds of businesses in our city, and a lot of them do community-oriented things, right? So I think we're possibly opening the door. Like, every week, it seems, you see businesses doing things for the community, and what this comes down to, it's essentially a community barbecue, right? So, like I say, there are many businesses in our community that do that type of thing, and I think by doing this, they're setting a precedent that they would all be eligible for grants.
Okay. Go to Councillor Legacy, and then I'll go to Councillor Hondas. Councillor Legacy.
I was just curious if we could get an update on how much is remaining in the grant fund.
Ms. Parker, I'll get it for us.
And how much we started with. I'm not entirely sure what the number was anymore.
So we started with 55,600.
Okay.
And we have used So we've used 31,800, and we have 23,800 left.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. And Councillor Hondas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think we have to look at it as we're supporting the event and not the business. They're happy to be sponsoring, but I think it's the event that the intent is the money is for, to help defray the cost of the event. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I think it's a great event. Why not go try some different foods? If you're tired of poutines, go have something different. So I think it's a great event and a great support. So I'm for it.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go to the vote. So I did get you got your mover and your seconder. You're good
Yes.
with that? Got your, okay. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Nay? Motion carried. All right, the second item for grants.
That the grant distribution be approved as follows, as discussed by the Grants Committee. $1,000 sponsorship for El Vino 2.0, hosted by the Chaleur Chamber of Commerce.
All right, I'll need someone to move and someone to second. Deputy Mayor Willett, seconded by Councillor Branch. Do we have any questions? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Item discussed in camera, license agreement amendment, the Acadie Bathurst Titans. Ms. Parker.
That members of council approve the amended agreement between the City of Bathurst and the Titan Acadie Bathurst Incorporated as discussed in camera on August 12, 2024, pursuant to Section 68 of the Local Governance Act, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign all related documents on behalf of the city.
All right, now someone move. Councillor Hahn does. Need someone to second. Councillor Legacy. Questions? All those in favor? Oh, yes. Councillor Hahn does.
I mean, kind of a last minute thing.
Yeah.
Just a question on the term. Is it the 1 year to 2 year?
It'll be a one-year term, and I can go to. It's a one-year
It's a
term.
1 year? Okay.
I mean, it's no secret that we know that the Titans has been out there looking at selling the team, so we don't know. So we've agreed with the Titan owners. So for media in case, we've agreed with the Titan owners that we would do a one-year term with them for now.
Okay, because there was just a question last time about maybe going 2 years. I don't know.
With the present owner, 1 year.
Okay.
All right? Okay. We'll go to the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Items of information. Do we have any administrative reports?
There was no administrative reports or reports from committees.
All right, and mayor report will go for the next meeting. We will go to the adjournment of the meeting. Ms. Parker.
That the regular public meeting be adjourned at 8:47 p.m.
All right.
7:47, sorry.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Hondas, seconded by Councillor Branch. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for being here with us. Merci d'être avec nous ce soir. Bonne soirée.